I learned a lot of healing modalities to heal myself. Probably, of course, there are issues with all of us, and there were a lot of issues with me as well. Then, started on the path of meditations and even sound healing for that matter, which actually resonated with me so well that I could, from layer to layer, I can scrap lot of things which was hidden inside, which I didn't know that is, actually navigating my life unconsciously. I feel that this self work brings a lot of love and compassion, which is the highest expression of God. And when we start looking from that space of love and compassion, any kind of negativity just melt away. It is a strong shield. Since childhood, there were some energies which were working with me. I could see my ancestors' souls coming to me, talking to me, actually blessing me and telling me what I need to do. I need to pray for them and do certain things. And I used to do them. I could see them with my, open eyes. They are coming and blessing me. I realized when my father passed away, I was in another city, so I didn't know. I had this inclination that I must meditate immediately. So when I sat for the meditation, I could see him clearly in front of my eyes. He's at peace, lying down. There's a lot of light surrounding him, and then after a day or so, we had a great conversation about many things. Angelic beings coming and visiting me, talking to me. So this is something which I would say is a complete gift to me. I have not ever worked on it.
Welcome to another episode of The Ineffable Mystic. Today's guest is Monika Bhardwaj. Monika, tell us a little bit about yourself. How are you doing today?
Yeah, hi Ryu, I'm doing perfectly fine. So, okay, so here I am. Thank you for inviting me and having me here at your podcast. So,
Thank you.
let me introduce myself quickly. Okay, I'm working as a kid and youth life coach.
Mhm.
So, it is like it's a journey where I could resonate, always could naturally, effortlessly connect with children at deeper levels. And it has always been my passion and vocation to create value work with kids, around kids. Of course, we need a healthy society and we need healthy adults. For that, we need healthy childhood. So this has always been my passion, and I have. So there's a research also which says that okay, if we don't have a great childhood, there is effect as an adult on our cognition and behavior and physical health too, as well. And nowadays we can see how mental health and behavior issues is on rise at a very early ages in kids' life. So to sum up with this, I feel my work, every moment in my work, gives me immense happiness, fills me with enthusiasm and energy and contentment.
That is so wonderful. So Monika was also a colleague in my past life regression therapy class. I thought I'll just mention that. And I resonate with everything that you are saying because just like last week, I was talking on my Instagram stories about how we are facing so many problems in this world. Everything from like all types of assault
Yeah,
to wars like between countries. And
yeah,
all of that is rooted in childhood, like
yeah.
all the traumatic things everyone experiences in their childhood and they are unable to heal them, and the society doesn't teach us how to heal basically, right? And so I expressed my wish to teach kids in the future emotional maturity, right? So it's very resonating with me.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And let's talk about your spiritual journey. So since I've talked to you before as well about your spiritual journey, I've learned so much from you as well. So can you talk a little bit about your spiritual journey? How has it been and where are you currently in your life?
Okay, so I'll go back towards my childhood. In my early years when I was very young. So I stayed with my grandparents. I think the spiritual seed was sown at that time because I remember my grandfather giving lectures on Rig Veda, Hamans, no, and he's telling us the meaning of each and every mantra. So there was a spiritual discipline we were following, like sun salutation, and he always encouraged us, to ask questions, to know what are we doing actually, like. But then the life happened. I think somewhere that seed did not grow up well. But yes, then I think. Now I realize that we are all spiritual beings and spiritual growth is our only goal. And when, of course, when it is all in the time, I feel, and when there's a time for inner calling, as I remember vividly, in somewhere around in 2004, I was going through one of my testing times in life. Then some kind of a jolt happened, some inner voice speaking to me, and thoughts were erupting like volcanoes. What the hell I'm doing in life, where I'm heading, why I'm born and what I need to do, all that stuff. I realized I was just living a random, limited, confused, powerless, horizontal life. I never thought about vertical development. Um, until then, I was completely oblivion about my latent potential and this, seed which was sown at my young age. So surprisingly, the very that around that time, I stumbled upon the philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti, and that has actually worked as a catalyst in my spiritual journey. His philosophy, and after that, I intrigued towards exploring many schools of philosophy, different meditations, studying Vedas, doing different healing modalities, learning them. And after experiencing all of these, there is a great awareness that everything, all answer, mysteries are inside all of is inside of us. Key is with us. We just need to, unlock it with our inner journey.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, that is again what I tell everyone as well. Like, people keep looking outside for their fulfillment and happiness, but all of that lies within us, and it takes time and consistency to actually go there because our society just keeps on, pulling us out, right?
Yeah,
And what you said about the horizontal growth and vertical growth also is very well put, because horizontally we can keep on getting pushed by others and living a life like that, but in order to go vertical you have to make efforts, right?
yeah.
And may I ask, what is the philosophy uh, of your gurus or spiritual teachers that the most resonates with you right now?
The philosophy is like there is a inner guru inside all of us. There's an inner God inside of us. We need to tap energy, not just to know thyself, but to know the mystery beyond it.
Yes,
It's
yes.
all about inner journey. Of course, we need to go out, we need to meet our mentors, our teachers. There are great saints who have come on this earth. They are great teachings to educate ourselves, to get that wisdom, and through that wisdom to experience the great truth which is inside all of us.
Yes. And so, in your spiritual life, there might be a time when you might have moved from your normal daily life into the spiritual life. You might have started a meditation or done something like that. So, what was the point, as you mentioned, you realized that, where your life was heading, and all of a sudden you wanted to um, go inwards, basically. So, how did you feel at that time, and what was it like being in that space, and what did you do following that time?
See, basically what happened is when our energies are scattered outwards.
Mhm.
We are always in a turmoil, in a confused state. It is always turbulence happening. So to have that resistance, do we, have that resistance? So um, I learned a lot of healing modalities to heal myself. Probably, of course, there are issues with all of us, and there were a lot of issues with me as well. And then, started on the path of meditations and even sound healing for that matter, which actually resonated with me so well that I could, from layer to layer, I can scrap lot of things which was hidden inside, which I didn't know that is, actually navigating my life unconsciously.
Yeah. So what was the tipping point you would say when you realized that, oh, this is the way and not the other way that I was following before?
So tipping point is like, okay, this is it. I am not giving my power to anyone. The
Mm.
power is mine.
Yeah. So you decided that you were not going to allow the world or others to control your life, but basically you wanted to take the driver's seat of your life, if I can say.
Yes, to take charge of my own life, being responsible for each and every action of mine.
Hmm. So when we start on this path, when we suddenly become so-called spiritual, when we start
Yeah,
on doing these activities and going into these philosophies, and
yeah,
usually when we are on this path, we change a lot of things in our life, and our behavior changes, and it leads
yeah.
to losing our friends and family and other people. So did anything of this sort happen where people told you that, what are you doing and why are you going on this path?
I will say that I'm very blessed one,
Mhm.
because to me it is like when I took this path, it actually a lot of things resonated me. It is like all divine energy surrounded me with it, with help. And more than outward resistance, I think there is more of inner resistance, like change, belief, conditioning, and if we are able to decipher all of it, outward resistance fades away on their own.
That is so true again. Because most of the resistance that's coming is from the inside. And if you remove the inside resistance, then you won't care about anything else. You don't care about what others are saying. You are still
Yeah,
following your path, right?
correct, correct, correct.
So, what would you say will be your biggest challenges in your past?
Well, okay, so if I think about the biggest challenges in my spiritual journey, you're talking about my spiritual journey, like what were my biggest challenges?
Yeah, I would say everything we do is spiritual. So, any
Yeah.
challenges that you might have faced and how did you deal with them normally
Yes,
and also spiritually?
yes, because I tell you, this is a very serious path.
Mhm.
And sometimes we feel sad also. It is not only, happiness, because serious work brings sadness also sometimes. So sometimes it tends to deviate, some entropy, it comes in, this procrastination which comes in, and there is a danger of losing momentum. And but yes, what I feel that persistent effort is what it is required. It is more to do with self discipline and unshakable faith, which keeps oneself on the path and kept me on the path. Yes.
Yeah, so many times I can recall when I also might have like dropped certain practices because it got too sad or too boring or something else happened, and it takes a great amount of, I would say, willpower to bring yourself back to the practices, right?
Yes.
So how do you deal with any kind of like people who are trying to bring you down or trying to deviate you from the path, or people around you who are not into spirituality but they are close to you, let's say? Then how do you deal with them?
Okay, so Ryu, I would say that I try to remember the duality in everything. It's like if there is love, there is detest also. If there is positive appreciation, positivity, appreciation, there is suggestive criticism also, or maybe dissent also.
Mm.
So to deal with it from a very centered and balanced space, where my inner peace is not hindered or shaken. So that is the power of spiritual work, self work. So we learn. I've learned to let it go. I learned to develop an empathetic approach towards, someone else's point of view. So I feel that this self work brings a lot of love and compassion, which is the highest expression of God. And when we start looking from that space of love and compassion, any kind of negativity just melt away. It is a strong shield.
Yeah, what you're saying is so deep and so refreshing as well. Because in the society, like right now, I'm seeing so much separation where people, even in the spiritual space, are like, okay, we spiritual people do this and non-spiritual people do that. And
Yeah,
I have to deal with these people who don't believe and stuff like that, you know. So there's a
yeah,
lot of separation going on. And thank you for mentioning the acceptance and the universal unconditional compassion that is the God's energy. Because when
yeah,
you reach that level, you are able to see um, where other people are coming from, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
even if their intentions are bad, you are still able to see that, okay, this is because this person is unable to uh, view the world from the perspective that you are able to see. I think it helps make life so much easier.
Yeah, because I feel spirituality is just the way of life, is the way you are. It's not something which can be differentiated.
Yeah,
And so I think when self work is lacking somewhere, there comes the ego. Even the spiritual ego becomes very strong.
yes.
So
So, have you worked with any teachers or coaches or mentors on your spiritual path that you've come across? Can you talk about that?
yeah, I have met many people through my spiritual journey. I've been to Ramana Maharishi ashram also. I've stayed there. So that was a transformation period for me where I learned his philosophy. Actually, I meditated upon it. And then I met, I listened to Jiddu Krishnamurti. I must stress that that is the great transformation which has happened through his philosophy. And then I have met many mentors from, like, I used to go to Vipassana and other meditative methodologies, which I have learned, how to connect with myself. And I'm very thankful to meet great people and I've been given great help. So I'm really grateful to all of them.
That sounds really great. And what do you think is the importance of having such teachers in your life?
Yes, we can't do anything alone. Though the path is all by yourself, but we need to have some kind of knowledge, wisdom, hand holding. And teacher is, of course, the guru, teachers, mentors. Um, they have a very high, respectable place in our Eastern philosophy also, and they are very important.
Yeah, and I always say, like, you can't achieve something that you don't know even exists, right? So, when somebody has reached at a place, even if it's in your normal life, in your career, you have a mentor and you are able to talk to them and see where they are at and the things that are possible. If you don't, then you don't even know that that possibility exists, right? So, how will you go there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So my next question would be, when you are in your low zone of your life, let's say you are completely confused, you don't know what to do next, and you're feeling very sad or depressed, and there is no help coming around. What do you do in those times?
Just let it be. That's what I do. Let it be.
Yeah,
Be in the nature, play, socialize, be with your friends, laugh, joke around. Be happy because some situations are not in our control. So let it be. Just face it. I think that is what I do. I just let it be.
Yeah, I have learned to do that as well. Before, I was so much in control of my life. Like, I wanted to control everything because that's how I was brought up. And growing up, then I realized that not everything can be in your control, and the universe will show you that you are not in control. I am, right? And
Yes,
so,
that's so true.
yeah, so in those low times, you can either go through those times being completely depressed and destroying your life and health, or you can just, be light and jump around, joke around, and wait for that phase to pass, and then it will be all well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That is such great advice as well. So, are there in any interesting stories that you want to share about your spiritual experiences, or anything that you want to share that will help our audience have more insight?
Well,
into- Yeah,
my spiritual experiences in terms of like psychic experiences, how you want me to narrate that, like, or some story for the audience, how do you want, what do you want me to do? Talk
yeah,
about.
we want it all. So, if you can start with your psychic experiences, and then we can move on to maybe the spiritual stories, or yeah.
Yeah, so like since childhood, there were some energies which were working with me. I could see my ancestors, souls coming to me, talking to me, actually blessing me and telling me what I need to do. I need to pray for them and do certain things. And I used to do them. I could see them with my, open eyes. They are coming and blessing me. Then I realized that okay, probably some outer body experiences where I'm just visiting some planets. Then from planets, I'm just going deep under the earth where there is so dark, and then I urge for help. Then there's some master appears and he tells me what is to be done and what not to be done, kind of a guidance. Like since childhood, I'm highly intuitive, and I knew even at a very distant, that okay, this is gonna happen. So I used to call my friends and relatives and tell them if we could be, if we could just look into it, would be really careful. And to my surprise, it always used to come true. So, so I thought, okay, I mean, if this is a gift, I must use it for my own journey. And then when time permits, or if there is a divine will and I get some signal, so I might work for others also.
Are there any spiritual experiences that you want to share apart from that?
Apart from that, is there's a lot of things. I think there are some personal things I realized when my father passed away. I was in another city, so I didn't know. I had this inclination that I must meditate immediately. So
Hmm.
when I sat for the meditation, I could see him clearly in front of my eyes. He's at peace, lying down. There's a lot of light surrounding him, and then after a day or so, we had a great conversation about many things. So this was a kind of and some angelic beings coming and visiting me, talking to me. So this is something which I would say is a complete gift to me. I have not ever worked on it.
So you mentioned that that was happening since your childhood, and
Yeah.
you also basically were able to see when your father was basically crossing over, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that is such a wonderful gift to have. And like in my childhood also, I was able to like see things, but around me people were not supportive, so I completely blocked that off, and I had to redevelop it. But yeah, so it's it's so wonderful that you were able to accept it and take it with you into your adulthood as well.
Thank you.
And are there any other stories that you want to share that will help our audience?
So well, it's a story of Buddhist story of impermanence, which I will just say it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I like Padma Sambhava, commonly known as Guru Rinpoche. He was a young 8th century Indian mystic who spent most of his adulthood in Tibet. So the
Mm-hmm.
story goes like this. His charm and enigma was such that, he was revered and loved by everyone who ever met him, even briefly, except some people among the royalty and commoners who envied him. And then people lavishly showered affection, praises, and gifts on Rinpoche. King offered him a permanent place in his own palace and treated him like a son. And it seemed that he is destined for the affluence and power he enjoyed. And he was a bold speaker and always spoke the truth. And everyone predicted that he will be the sovereign of Tibet one day. So legend has it that once while dancing in ecstasy, holding the king ritual implements of bell and trident, he hurled them in air from his rooftop. They fell on the street below, the trident landing on the head of the passerby and killing him on the spot. So that changed everything. Those who were jealous of him seized the opportunity. And it worked, and as soon the public was outraged. His youth was stumped inexperience, his truth arrogance. The local push for the sentence and Rinpoche be banished from the community. So then he had to live rest of his life in wilderness. So that one incident, however, was enough to awaken Rinpoche to bring face to face with the reality of this world, that is impermanence. So so it's so I feel that my take on this, if our energies are directly outward with no connection to ourselves and beyond, it will be difficult to handle such a turbulent change.
Yeah.
So I hope this story can create ripples inside all of us, and try to find that resilience to abrupt changes and find yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And this ability to be grounded during abrupt changes or big changes in your life, again, that only comes with a lot of self work, I would say.
Yeah.
And recently it happened that we had a big change in our life that happened, and I was actually warned by it, by my father. He came in my dream and he told that, um, um, he said, you can't control what life gives you, but you can
Mm,
control how you respond to it, he said. And I was like, okay, it's a general message, but it was actually a warning because a big change was coming. And but
mm,
since because of the work that me and my husband did on ourselves, we are like
yeah.
completely fine, we are completely happy, and everybody else who hears about it is like, what are you guys doing? Like everybody else is panicking, but we are like, normal.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's the, charisma of self work.
Yeah, yeah, we are so confident and so certain in ourselves that whatever we do, wherever we go, whatever happens, will be good, will be fine.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
only comes with a lot of inner work and all the spiritual progress that you do, right?
yeah, correct. Great.
I really enjoyed the story that you told. So, what would be the one take home message that you'd like to give?
The message is take the responsibility, finding your own key, and each one of us is unique. Each one of us has our own experiences, which are only meant for us.
Mhm.
Take your own unique inner journey and let the mystery and beyond unfold.
Yes, thank you for that message. So, if anybody wants to contact you, how can they do that?
Well, my Instagram is resonating innocence. I can be reached there.
Okay, I will put the link to your Instagram in the description and people can find you there if they have any questions or if they want to talk to you. So, thank you so much, Monica, for being here today and giving us your time and your wisdom. and I really enjoyed all the stories that you told. And I hope everybody takes home the message that is meant for them from this podcast. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Rio. Thank you for having me. It's a nice talk. It's been a nice evening, lovely evening of wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye bye.